Alright guys, what a start to April. So, here I am again, recording it again. I always screw up the recording, but it's fine. So, let's bring it over here. I always forget to bring it over. There's the P&L. Not too bad. It could have been better, but I'll explain why. So, SLS was the stock of the day. I have food on me for some reason. Okay, so pre-market, what was this thing doing? Pre-market, this is what it looked like. That. So before that, it made a nice kind of flag here. You can see it surged up and kind of was flagging and kind of grinding back up. And then when it broke this top, this was pre-market. You can see at the bottom there, 927, 926. It broke through that from 550 all the way up to $6, and then it came back down. So, and when the bell rang, it went all the way through that. See on this candle right here, in the 1 minute candle, it went through that from 570 all the way to, well, 670 on the next candle right here. So, I thought that was it, and unfortunately, I missed this first move because I didn't get filled, and it sucks that I didn't get filled. So I'll show you why I didn't get filled here. So this is the video. You know, market opens at 9:30, so 20 seconds to the bell. I see this. I'm watching it. It's the leading gapper for the day. You can see on my scanner here, it's up 56%. The next ones are too high or too low a price, so I don't end up trading those. So, okay, 5 seconds till the bell opens. We'll see what happens. It's at 5:55 right now. Bell rings, and we're off. So, if you saw there, I tried to get in. I put an order out with my 5-cent offset. So, I put it out. It was the ask was at $6. So, it puts my order out at 6:05 to almost ensure that I get filled. But, joke's on me, I didn't actually get filled because of this offset. Because the second it was out, my order... Where is it? I put my order out, and then it gets... So, it was at 6, my order goes out at 6:05, and the ask is now already at 6:08. So, I think I might have to adjust my offset on all of my buy orders to maybe 8 or 10 cents. And while that's riskier, it's not really going to screw me over with such a low amount of shares. It'll just assure that I get into the move. Because with my broker, that's the only thing that might be, you know, not so good about interactive brokers. But, you know, this could happen with every broker, and that's when there's so much buying. Like at the same time, so many people were trying to buy and putting in orders that there was that split second of lag, and then I don't get filled, and I miss out on that 50-cent move. It was like $200 on my share size. So it's unfortunate, but I can mitigate that by having a 10-cent offset, let's say. So at $6, it would have put the order out at 6.10, like a limit order, so I would have gotten filled for this whole thing. But I have to decide if that's really what I want to do. I really don't see a drawback. Yeah, I might get in later than I want, but with 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 shares, I'm not going to be... I don't think it'll be a problem, but maybe I'll just raise it a bit, like 7 cents, 8 cents, just to be safe. But anyways, so I don't get in at, what was it, 6:05, and then it immediately is in the 30s, 40s, and you know, that's frustrating, but I said, listen, last week I didn't wait for pullbacks, I got a little crazy and just jumped into something that was moving. That's not how you show discipline. So I waited for this pullback. All of these massive sellers here are popping up on the ask, you can see, and then when they go away, it gets closer to 650, and then when it comes down, you know, it's holding over $6, which is good. There's some guys popping up on the bid here to prop it up, and then when it comes back up again, they're selling. But see how thin it's looking now? There's not a lot of people trying to sell. So I noticed this, and I noticed that it's coming back up towards 650, which is the high. So right as I see it break through all of these buyers, or sellers, sorry, it hasn't really gotten over, you know, 625, 635 quite yet. You know, another big seller there. Okay, so now it's broken into almost the 40s. So I get in right there, 639, with a break of 650. And I have a stop, like, I have such a tight stop. If this hits like 630, I'm out. But there was immediate resolution. So I'm in here at 53 seconds. There's already resolution 4 seconds later. That's what I like to see. It's an immediate, it's working or it's not working. And if it didn't work, I would just get out. I know the potential is high as this because it's a quick mover, so I was willing to get in. So I use 500 shares. My max is 600. I just use 500 shares. It surges up through 650, sure enough. So I try and put orders out in the 70s here. I don't get filled. In the 60s, I don't get filled. I finally get filled for 400 of those shares. It's like there's something. Is there something on my monitor there? Oh no, it's just the video. So I hold on to 100 shares. And in retrospect, I should have sold 100 shares because we know in this market lately things have been shooting up and then dropping right back down. So I should have been in and out with 500 shares. And that would have added a nice little profit because now I'm actually red on these 100 shares. And it goes down a lot. So that's already a really big red flag for me. So when it comes back up again, I use that opportunity with this seller right here to get my last 100 shares out. And I know it's at a loss. So I put them up. And I don't know if you saw that. I put them up with this guy at 625. But then I quickly moved my order down to 624 using my arrow keys. And then I transmitted the order, or the update, by hitting enter. So I was the first in line to get bought. And then I'm instantly bought up at 624. I took a loss on those 100 shares. But you know, that happens sometimes. And that's fine. Again, this could have been like closer to 200 bucks if I had gotten filled on that first move. So I'm gonna fix that. I don't want that. I hate when that happens. But at least I controlled my emotions. I controlled everything else. So I kept my other losses small. Did I bring over the P&L here? Yeah, I did. So you can see the losses here are really small because I know that even last week, you know, I was jumping into things before they were happening. But I take another trade first on SLS. So I see this 1 minute candle closing here. It made a high of 640. So a lot of people play the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. I've said that many times. So I was waiting for this to happen at 640. So I see the volume start to come in right before 640. So I get in for the break. It's kind of in anticipation of the break. Again, with a tight stop, usually at the low of this candle, I would have gotten out 635, maybe at like 625 or 10 cents worth of risk. So I'm trying to capture at least 10 cents worth of profit. So it crosses the last 1 minute candle's highs right here of 640. So once it does that, right to 647. I put my orders out at 648 for 400 shares. I took a 500 share position, and just like that, I doubled my profit from, what was it, 58 to 103. And then the last 100 shares, I again hold on, but then I remember just a couple minutes ago that didn't work, so I put them up at 51. At 50, I'm not getting filled. I don't know what this error message is that I get, so I try and bail out. I have a key to bail out, and I think I hit it so many times that it just breaks everything. And it gives me all these errors, but you know, it did get out, so that's fine. I took a did I take a loss? No, so I got out of those at 640, 639. So that was a smaller winner on those last 100 shares. So that was fine. So what I was getting at earlier, try not to ramble here. So what I was getting at earlier is I got in a couple other things. You know, Y10 was looking great over 209. So I got in at the next best entry, which was 212 for the break of its highs of the day. So I got in. It was a little preemptive. And then I was thinking of last week, like this is exactly how I wiped out my profits last week. So I'm already thinking, okay, I don't like this, just get me out of this. I put my shares up on the ask, hoping to get filled. And, you know, I do eventually get filled at 211 here. So I take a small loss and I go, okay, that's probably a good idea. You know, it goes up a couple cents, but nothing worth getting a little upset over. This has a great chart, but it just didn't work out. So I have to wait. I keep telling myself I have to wait for these moves, not get in preemptively. Unless it's like, you know, a 1 minute setup on something that's already moving, which is what I just did. But something that hasn't moved yet, I should not get in preemptively. I do that again on another stock here, on NWY. Again, it broke over a great daily level, so I got in, and then I see the volume is low. I realize I'm getting a little edgy, like trying to jump in something again, so... You know, I take the loss, I take a small loss, I get out at 65, getting in at 69. No, small loss, that's fine. And now I'm starting to think to myself, this is how I'm slowly over-trading. You know, like last week, I was over-trading like crazy. So I really step back. I step back and I just wait. I just wait for something to happen. I don't take any trades here, no trades, nothing. Is this where I look at Y10 or okay, so this next video here is where everything went kind of crazy. So I'm explaining here. This was actually live. And we watched SLS get halted again after dipping so much and then coming back up. So I was explaining, because I already did this video, but I just decided to redo it again. I was explaining what I would do when it's unhalted, how I would play it. So I was saying if it unhalts higher, I would wait for the dip, and as it surges through where it unhalted, that's where I would buy and then scalp that move. If it unhalts lower, I would buy in as it's surging through where it halted. So now there's a 10-minute halt. I thought it was a 5-minute halt, but it was a 10-minute halt. I'm explaining kind of what I'm doing and stuff. So here's the actual trade. What happens here? Unfortunately, the first trade, I didn't get filled because of that error message. So it unopened higher. I think it was at 650 or something. I can't see it right now. So I said, over that high, I'll buy. So over that high, I bought in 200 shares. I try and put my shares up at 75 here. 2 seconds later, for a 30 cent or 20 cent profit, I see that it's not getting filled, so I try and dump my shares. You can see I tried to dump my shares there. I got the error message. Where is it? Right here. For some reason, it's just not letting me transmit my order, so I would have been out at 7:55. But instead, by the time I went and I clicked this button, and I actually got out, I think I got filled at 7:25 or something here, and I lost $50 or $60 of profit. So I said, okay, this thing still has time to open up. So now I'm back in with 400 shares for the break of 7.75 here. So where is it? I'm just trying to find where it is on the video. Right here. 75. Yeah, so I got in somewhere around 55 here, and I sold at 72, bringing me back up to more profit than I had before on the day. So it surges right there into a halt. I get in for the halt at $8. And then I get out again as it surges through. I'm just doing really quick scalps. That was actually only a 4-cent scalp. I maybe should have held on to that longer, but it gets risky the higher you go. And if this drops, you know, 40 cents on 400 shares, you know, I'm down $160 right there. So it looks like it's about to get halted again finally, and here it is, and I get filled with 100 shares. Now that was fine. That was a great strategy. Let's open up the next video. See if this is... No, this is not the right one. This one. can see what happened here. So I put an order out to sell around 850, and I got filled. I got filled at 885 on 100 shares, 50 cents on 100 shares. That's an extra $50 of profit just locked in. So maybe I should have been using, 200 or 300 shares instead of just 100. But I wanted to have a good start to April. I didn't want to wipe out my profits from earlier. I guess, in retrospect, maybe even just 200 shares would have been fine, because my max position size is now 600. So that would have been fine. I can't remember if I make another trade. I think I do. So I say, okay, over 885, I would scalp it like another time. So I'm waiting. 885. I'm just waiting to see 885 here. Is this where I actually take the trade? Yes, it is. So I get in for that break. And also the break of $9, which is a great spot that a lot of people, it's resistance, but it's also a great entry point if you get in below it. So I got in actually at 895. This break, and then I get out at 80 or 909. I'm adding, $15, $20 of profit each time, and that's only because I'm using 100 shares. If I was using 300 shares, for example, that would be like, 20, 30, 40, 60 dollars of profit on each little scalp. And these are 2-second trades here. That was 2 seconds for almost 15 cents. That's pretty good. And it keeps going. Kind of risky at this point, so I stop trading it. I don't really care about it at this point, whatever. So closing the day up, what is it here? 185, 238, 185, 238. I wrote down here, great trading. I kept in mind what I was doing wrong the last week that led to wiping out my profits. And I did that by using proper risk management. So I followed every single rule, my size, my stop, my loss, everything. Going into tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure what to think. So I started to do this recap, and I missed this initial move on SLS when it started to come back up again. And then I got back in at a good entry point. So maybe I'll start doing these recaps at 11 o'clock instead of when I started originally, like at 10:30 or 10 when I thought everything was dead. And also, or no, I'm talking about right here. But also at the beginning of this move, if I was in for that, I would probably be well up over 350 on just this name. And that would have been much better. So I think I'm gonna change my offsets for each of my hotkeys. So if I go into my hotkeys here, I have all of my shifts are buying. So they buy with a limit of 5 cents above the ask. So I might change this to, 8 cents for each one of them. And maybe that'll help me get into these moves that move really quickly. So I'll stop rambling. If you guys have any questions, leave them down this way in the comment box. I like interacting with everyone and trying to help out where I can. I'm still new to this. I'm still learning how to trade myself, but I think I have a pretty good understanding of the mechanics and everything of trading. I'm just not so good with, my emotions. So that's what I need to work on personally, but in the meantime, I can show people, chart patterns or show them the level 2 and what's going on with that stuff. So what a great start to April. Let's try and finish this whole week green. Just keep in mind what I was doing wrong last month and last week. And everyone have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.